What's going on, and welcome into your casual gaming news conversation for January 23rd. I'm one of your hosts for the evening, Nikki Two Shoes, Nikki Hobson. Alongside me, we got the man in the beanie, Connor Evans. Connor, how's it going, dude?
It's going well. We're about to get absolutely annihilated by snow. So if you don't hear from us after this, we're buried.
We're underneath the snow.
So looking forward to that. A cozy weekend in potentially. Just fingers crossed that our power doesn't go out. If you're in the path of the storm, stay safe out there. But
it's hitting everyone.
As long as the power stays on and the heat stays on, we're golden. I'm staying in, playing video games, cuddling up with Laura. We're gonna be fine.
For me, it is the Switch 2 charged? Right. Do I have a extra battery pack good to go?
If the Switch 2 is charged, you get like 30 minutes.
I got 2 hours, Connor. 2 hours of Hades 2 can mean the difference.
That thing dies so fast.
Doing well.
Speaking of Hades 2 and the Switch 2, I was talking in the Discord about this. I think that game drains my battery the fastest of any game that I've played.
It does drain it really fast.
Though I didn't really test it that intensively with Cyberpunk. I feel like that's got to be
my battery drained fast with Pokemon Legends Z3A. That took it down real fast. But no, I'm excited to have a chill weekend. The big thing is Drake May plays this weekend, and if the power goes out like right as this game's going on, I'm gonna be so upset.
I'll watch it on my phone.
I'll just watch it on my phone too. Connor, there's also the chance that I know that me and Brady are on 2 different power grids. We learned this during a storm a couple years back and everything. What's the odds that my power goes out and have to hoof it over to Brady's place to watch the game?
That'd be convenient.
That'd be very fun.
Yeah.
Maybe my power goes out and then I just hang out with Brady for Sunday.
How are you feeling? Gut check. Patriots versus
Broncos.
Jared Stidham. And then
we're winning by 24.
No,
we're not going to win by 24. We're going to win by double digits.
I could see that happening. I can also see a total blowout, like you said, over 20. I could also see a really close game. And I feel like Pats fans who are overly confident right now are making me nervous. I feel like there's a strong reality that we end up losing this game.
Yeah, we can lose this game. That defense is good enough. That defense is historic with the
Drake May coughs up the ball twice, and it doesn't end up falling back into an offensive lineman's hands like it did this last week. They run it back for 6, and all of a sudden,
pick sixes are on the board
really fast.
Pick sixes are on the board. Fumble, sack, and scoop and scores are totally on the board. No, the Pats should win this game though.
I think they probably are.
I think the line.
If you force me to bet on it, I would bet on the Patriots, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. Rams, Seahawks. Who do you got?
I got the Seahawks. I think that the Seahawks, Sam Darnold got the demon off his back with that 49ers game. I think
the Seahawks will probably win. I would like Matthew Stafford and the Rams to win. I think it would be cool to see Matthew Stafford win another Super Bowl potentially. So if it's not us against them, I'm going to be rooting for the Rams. But if it's us against the Rams or anybody, I'm going to be rooting for the Patriots.
For me, Sam Darnold winning Super Bowl would also be cool.
Really?
Why is that not objectively cool?
I don't feel positively or negatively towards Sam Darnold.
I think that it's got a cool story. I think that everyone's counting him out, and then he goes to the Vikings. They become the 1 seed. They lose in the first round. Everyone counts him out again, and then now he's proving that haters wrong.
I guess I just don't really pay attention to Sam Darnold in general. I feel like the Seahawks being a powerhouse team this season has flown really under the radar for a lot of people.
Because everyone was like the Rams are the #1 team, and for the longest time until they got surpassed by Seattle, and then it was, can the 49ers pull it out? It was a lot of fun.
Just an unsexy team. JSN is the only
great player,
major player on that team.
Shaheed with the run back though. Come on, that was pretty sick. You know what else is sick, Connor? Housekeeping. Go over to patreon.com/Cope64 where you can get this show 3 days early. You can get the casual gaming conversation 3 days early and a bonus episode of the casual gaming conversation each and every week. We just graded gamers' top 5 games. We just did a control spoiler cast. I feel like everyone's full tilt on the Remedy conversation right now. There's this energy about Remedy, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So go, if you just want our impressions on that game, we do 10 minutes of conversation and no spoilers, and then we hop into a full spoiler cast. It's a lot of fun. And then if you go up to the next tier, though, you get to write into the podcast. You get to the Co-op64 podcast, and you get Recollection Retro, which is Connor's retro collection show, Co-op64 podcast, or conversational podcast. A lot of fun for those perks. And then at the highest tier, you get your name read at the end of each and every podcast we do, and you can be the 4th chair on the Co-op64 podcast. We spin a wheel and choose a topic that you write in. It's a lot of fun. Twitch streams, High Guard. Monday. Connor, quick temperature check. How excited are you for High Guard?
What did I put on the hype meter? I think I said like 5 or 6 out of 10.
Where are you at now?
I'm intrigued by it. I don't think I'm hyped for it.
We got the hype meter this shoot, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. February, it's going to go nuts. I think that the cumulative score for my hype meter on like average was like 4.3 last time. I think it's going to be like an 8.7. A lot of great games coming out in February. Very excited about that. I'm for High Guard hype. I mean, I'm curious to see if it does get on my fantasy critic team. That dollar bid, it's out there.
It's all you, buddy.
I think that somebody might try to get cute and, it's an agate from me, but I'm curious to see where that lands. And then also I'm curious to see where all fantasy critic lands. We did a little bid check last night. We checked all the bids that everyone put up. Some people guessed my bid. Some people were very right. Some people were very wrong. It was a lot of fun.
I only bid on one game.
What?
Yeah.
One game. Are you just trying to save the money for
I said this on the Control podcast, I think, or on Monday stream, that every single time I bid on games that don't get drafted, it burns me.
Yeah.
So I tend to wait for more games to get announced and then pick those up.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is normally my strategy is normally wait for Astrobot, wait for Donkey Kong, wait for the big summer game, and then bid the house on it. But I think that there was enough talent on the waiver wire this time around to be like, I have a $50 bid out there. Like, I have half my budget going to one game, so it's gonna be interesting. I totally forgot what we were gonna talk. Oh yeah, Twitch streams. Monday we're gonna be streaming High Guard. Me, Connor, and Brady. Our first impressions of High Guard. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're gonna get that posted on Tuesday on YouTube if you miss it, which is where all of Group Stream goes. Is Tuesdays on YouTube at 9 a.m. Eastern. But that's super exciting. I can't wait for that stream. Hopefully this game is good. Hopefully we play it another week. That's the question. Will High Guard last 2 weeks on Group Stream, or will we be playing Elden Ring Night Rain that next Tuesday? That's the question at hand. Tuesdays and Thursdays, continuing with my Chrono Trigger playthrough. God, this game's so good.
You're almost done?
65% of the way through, 67% of the way through. Come on. But no, I think I'm about 70% of the way through. I just had a major story beat happen. Here's what's happening too. I am playing this game so freaking well right now, where like I'm not like getting smoked by bosses. Like it feels weird, Connor, but I'm not super underleveled in a JRPG. This might be the first time that that's ever happened. Very
I don't
exciting.
know how you were underleveled in Final Fantasy X. It doesn't make any sense. But the chat was saying that you ran from a lot of fights.
I ran from a couple, ran from one or two, but I did
you were
fight.
lying to me.
No, but I fought a lot of fights. I fought a lot of fights, especially in the early game. Like I didn't skip a lot of fights.
You need to fight everybody. You can't run unless you were like in a pinch and like you're gonna die.
So like I was in a pinch a couple times, then I ran a couple times, and then I didn't run a lot of the time. I did not run as often as chat was saying. People said I ran from every single fight, and that's objectively not true. Like
that's not what I was saying though. I when I said if you play the game normally, which would be you come across a random encounter, you fight it, and then you do the next one, and you don't run unless, like I said, you're in a pinch and you're gonna die.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
But that's not what you were doing. I thought you were playing the game normally, and that's what you told me you were doing. I was like, chat, like he's fighting everybody, and they're like, no, he's running, and I'm like,
sometimes
okay.
I would go and I would see the save in the distance, and I would go and get the save, but then I would go back and fight some people to make sure that I got the save first and stuff like that. I don't know. All I know is our Twitch chat is amazing. Thank you so much for watching us. That means the world to us. Wednesday's Connor Souls continues on. How excited are you to get back to that?
Very excited. I'm going to be rusty because it's going to be a full 2 weeks since I played it last. But I feel like I pick it up pretty fast, especially because I've played the start of this game so many times.
Are you still in areas that you played before?
Yeah, we're going to be there for a while.
Okay, interesting.
I think I got like 60% of the way through.
Interesting. That's so fascinating. Connor, after you beat Dark Souls, and then like when eventually we need all Co-op 64, we need to beat every Souls game. We need somebody to beat Dark Souls 2, and we need someone to beat Dark Souls 3 after this. And then we will have collectively beaten every Souls game.
Yeah.
That's when we redo the Souls podcast. We get Shane back up here and run it back one time.
Ranking every boss in every From Software game.
That's a bonus spot if I've ever heard of one.
One day.
Discord, join the Discord. You can talk to us about football, about video games, about life. Let us know your favorite pepperoni sizing on a pizza. Have you had some big pepperonis on your pizza before, Connor?
No, they've been normal size pepperonis for the most part.
There was a place down in Auburn that did like really big pepperoni slices. and so, but here's the thing: you take a bite, and you have to like shovel the extra pepperoni.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like that.
But then you ever get these like small little guys on there, like the tiny pepperonis on there?
Yeah, crispy. Those are great.
Dude, I love a crispy small pepperoni size. But yeah, hop to the Discord, hang out with us. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Merch, Cope64store.com. If you want to go and pick up hoodies, boom, mugs or t-shirts, reviews over on Apple Podcasts. It gets the show out to more people. And drop a comment in the comment section if we mess something up on the show so we can set the record straight for the next episode. All right, Connor, let's do it. Headline: Xbox Developer Direct 2026. Everything announced. This is Wesley Impool at IGN. Quote: Microsoft kicked 2026 off with a new Xbox Developer Direct showcase, which featured some of the biggest games the company has coming out this year. We got a fresh look at Playground Games' Forza Horizon 6 and Fable, Game Freak's Beast of Reincarnation, and a surprise appearance from Double Fine in the form of Kiln. End quote. Connor, we reacted to it. We watched it live. It's been a day. What is your score and what are your thoughts about the Xbox Developer Direct?
Yeah, it's nice to get a day removed from these showcases because I feel like my immediate reaction was a little bit more negative than where I am now. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. I think this was a really strong showing, a very good showing. I just need to kind of set my biases aside when it comes to this and just look at the games as they are, not based off of my personal preferences, and say that a lot of what they showed here was really great.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for me, but I think that a lot of these are going to be for somebody. And I think some of these are going to be really popular and big hits like Forza Horizon 6 and Fable. But breaking it down, Forza Horizon 6 looks as good as everybody expected it to be.
Yeah.
That game's going to hit. And it seems like Japan and Tokyo and Forza is a match made in heaven. The scenery in that game is absolutely gorgeous. The visuals are insane. The cars look amazing.
The cars look like they always do in Forza games.
Like
ridiculous.
Like the
Connor, did
reflections
you hear that engine, dude?
Yeah,
the engine was engineing, dude. It was sick.
It looks great, but I'm not a racing game guy, so I like the idea of trying this out, and maybe this one will click for me, but that's probably not going to happen because it didn't happen with Forza Horizon 5. It's a game and a franchise that I respect a lot, and I'm sure will do very well and review very highly, and fans are going to be very satisfied with this entry. I'm sure it's going to be huge on Xbox and PlayStation and sell millions and millions of copies.
5 million copies for Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation. Insane.
After years of being out, too.
Insane.
And then Beast of Reincarnation, Game Freak of Pokemon fame. Exciting to see them branching out and doing something new. I think this is the game I might be the least interested in of the four. It looks good, not great. There just isn't anything in this breakdown that really sold me. I think there's a few interesting ideas. Any game with the doggo companion that's going to move it into my radar, into my purview. And then the stuff with like the kind of Final Fantasy VII remake style menu system of being able to pause the gameplay and do certain attacks, scrolling through a menu, I think looks cool. And then it also is bringing in like the real-time, quick time event. Expedition 33 aspect of like you do an attack and then like there's like a little circle and you have to time it properly. I think that looks cool. I think the world looks interesting. I think a lot of this just kind of looks a little bit derivative. Like I just was breaking down different aspects and then I am pointing to other games where it's just pulling certain things from. It's not always a bad thing, but none of it really jumped off the screen at me. And then Kiln, man, Double Fine. I love that they do weird stuff. I hope this game catches on. It's going to be really tough, though, because it just looks very weird and creative. And it's a multiplayer game, and it needs an audience to be successful, and I just can't see that happening. But removing that from the equation, I think this looks really awesome. I don't know if I'm going to be super into the pottery portion of this game and building my different pots or whatever. But I'm excited to jump in to the party brawler madness, and hopefully there's a little bit of depth there. It doesn't get super repetitive after a few matches. Best case scenario for this game for me personally is that I play it for like a month straight, like a couple times a week. I can't imagine this game having like legs beyond that, but if that's the case, I'm like, that's a huge win. Like I think that sounds awesome, but I think that might be wishful thinking. And even if I had that experience, I doubt that many people will have that experience. Like the chat was not about this game when it was being shown.
Brady, with one of the comments of the day, we're like 3 or 4 minutes into that showing, and he just goes, "Really?" He couldn't even grasp the game that he was watching a deep dive on.
Yeah.
And I felt like that is like such a good temperature check. That's why we love having Brady on the desk, where it's like, yeah, like we like weird Double Fine ass shit, but like Brady is good, like sees this and he's like, Nick might force me to play it for one night, but like other than that, like there's not a shot that Brady's gonna hop in on something like this.
And for multiplayer games, you need a bunch of people in. Like you need to get a decent audience. You need friends to be able to go to their friends and be like, hey, let's hop into this. And selling a party brawler, I feel like is a bit of a tough sell just on paper. Like it's like describing that game to somebody and being like, hey, you should hop into this is going to be very difficult. Yeah. It's going to take getting on the sticks and actually experiencing the game. And I hope that when I get to do that, I'm sold. Yeah. And then Fable. I am not a fantasy guy, and everything I'm about to say is coming from that perspective. Like, understand that. Like, this game is not for me, or at least I don't think it is. I'm willing to give it a go, though, because I think what they're showing off here is incredibly impressive. So many of the systems in this game seem super rich, super deep. 1,000 NPCs, all with their own like life cycle. You can follow one, and they'll have their own schedule, and they'll do their own little activities. That's super cool. You can buy houses. You can get married. You can buy all the houses. Like that sounds awesome. Like it sounds like you can spend thousands of hours just living in this game. I think the combat looks rock solid. The visuals are very impressive. The British comedy. I've never been a huge British comedy guy. Like, what would the main example of that be? Monty Python? Like, that's what I would point to, I guess.
I would like the British version of The Office comes to mind and stuff like that.
It's a very specific type of humor, and it's never drawn me in personally. But like with all that in mind, stuff that I'm not super interested in, I can see all of this in front of me and be like, this is incredible. Like this looks like it's going to be some people's shit. It's going to be their game. I could easily see this game coming out in 2026 alongside GTA 6 and a huge swath of people saying that this is still their game of the year, even compared to something like GTA 6 or Wolverine or whatever. This is the game that I look at in Xbox's catalog, and with all, like, keep in mind, not for me. Like I am coming from a very biased perspective here, and even I can look at this and say, there's a really solid chance this could be Xbox's competitor to a top-of-the-line PlayStation game. This could be a 90 on Metacritic. This game could be huge, and I hope that it is, and I hope that it delivers the goods. And a lot of my skepticism while watching this just stems from, it's not even necessarily fair to Fable, it just stems from gaming as a whole. Like, we have heard the whole... each character has their own like life and is just kind of doing their own thing, and you can follow them. So they said that for Cyberpunk. That was not true. Like, there's a lot of empty promises that are made in the gaming industry. So my skepticism just comes from analyzing everything as a whole. It's not necessarily fair to Fable to put that on that. So I get some blowback from that. I understand why some people will push back on that, but if they can deliver on those promises, that's going to be fucking incredible, dude. Like, I hope that I become enamored with this game somehow and get really sucked into it, but it's definitely an uphill battle for me. But even with all of that in mind, like, I think this game could be amazing. And so just breaking it down for the whole showcase: Forza, Fable, Beast of Reincarnation being the weakest point for me, and then Kiln, a creative, weird game from Double Fine. Like, these are all, I think it ranges from absolutely spectacular to good. And if that's the case, I think 7.5, I think that the big issue that holds it back is that there isn't like a major surprise that people were like really stoked about. We didn't have the Hi-Fi Rush situation. Last year we didn't have we got Ninja Gaiden Black 2 and the announcement of a new Ninja Gaiden game. I don't think that Kiln is on the level of those titles. So I think that holds it back. And I think that when you compare Beast of Reincarnation to something like Expedition 33, like, I left the Expedition 33 showcase last year. I was already excited for that game, but I was like, fuck yeah, I'm so in.
Literally, we got off the set and we're like, we're checking inboxes every day now, just trying to go and get this game as soon as possible because we're so stoked on it.
But so, like, I say 7.5, but if you're like really stoked about Fable and Forza, I get an 8. So what do you got?
8 out of 10 for
Yeah.
me.
And that's crazy because the chat after we finished, I was like, what is everybody feeling? 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
Let's bring in some people real quick. I pulled 4 write-ins because I thought that a lot of people had great write-ins. By the way, thank you so much. We got a ton of write-ins for this. I like the fact that like we can just I'm gonna go and sit down and just bring in as many as I want. That's sort of my mindset when it comes to the show at this point. A Scary 90, which I read the first time, and I was like, they're singing Scary 90. So thanks for getting that stuck in my head.
90s.
What?
Soggy 90s.
Oh, it's cranking Soggy 90s.
yeah.
Sure. Scary 90 says the Dev Direct was definitely a 9 out of 10. The star of the show for me genuinely was Beast of Reincarnation because you're always going to get me with a one person, one dog RPG. You said it's a dog RPG game, slam dunk. That works for me too. And then I want to bring in Mr. Munchies, though, when you talked about the negativity around here. Mr. Munchies wrote in and said, I believe that every one of the smaller showcases is full of nothing but negativity from those watching it. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. The Dev Direct was to showcase the studio's work that they have done to make these games that they have put their heart and souls into. Let them have their moment. I think that you're allowed to be hypercritical of things. I want to be very clear.
Right.
Like, you are allowed to dunk on things. I think that Dev Directs are in the weirdest spot in the industry. There's no other showcase like the Dev Direct. We don't do this with PlayStation. We don't do this with Nintendo. The Xbox has their summer showcase, but this is how they kick off the year. There's nothing else like it. I'm coming at this from an 8 out of 10. I think last year's was as close to a 10 out of 10 Dev Direct that we'll ever get. Because you said that the biggest issue with this was maybe some games aren't for some people, Kill, maybe not, Beast of Reincarnation, not. My biggest issue was was dates. We did not get enough dates. This is where we should be leaving with a lot of answers for Xbox this year. We got one answer. But I have to also take this with the mindset that we knew the Forza date before the camera started rolling, right? And I know that was partially leaked by Xbox, but Xbox never came out and said, hey, Forza is 15th the week before or anything. They were holding that date for this moment.
I also think a big answer was given to us just by seeing more Fable.
Yeah.
And getting confirmation that game was going to be something. Because up until this point, we had seen little glimpses of it. We hadn't seen anything substantial. This was our first substantial look at it, and they went pretty in depth on a lot of the different aspects of the game, and I think it's going to deliver the goods.
I'm also okay with. I think that I didn't ask Brady his score. I might shoot him a text message during the show and maybe just get a response back. I would assume Brady's at like a 6 out of 10 with this.
I would guess 5 or
because
something.
there's just not a lot that is there
not for him. Yeah.
But with that being said, like Forza is more important than people realize. I think at this point, it is not only this massive seller, but it's a massive seller on PlayStation. It's a massive needle mover for Xbox's portfolios to have a game that is in the 90s on Metacritic. Like I discuss all the time, Xbox probably hasn't had removing since Halo 3. Xbox has had 2 games that I look at as like the shit, and that is Hi-Fi Rush with Tango, and that is the Forza Horizon series. This is one of the things that they get to step up and knock out of the park.
It's a powerhouse.
Yeah, it's a powerhouse in Metacritic, and it's also a powerhouse in sales. And so what else do you want from a video game? Sure, it might not be for you.
That's the problem, is that it's still in a bit of a niche. Just because racing games aren't for everybody.
It's racing games, it's fighting games, it's that whole conversation.
And
that
when I say it's in a bit of a niche, we're still talking about something that sells millions and millions of copies.
Where it's like, I don't think that we can call it niche anymore. When it's selling more, Astrobot won Game of the Year and sold, I want to say 4 million copies that first year that it rolled out. We're talking about a game that came to PlayStation after the fact.
I think you look at it as niche because when you look at something like God of War or The Last of Us, you're like, that game, I don't think there's anybody who looks at that and is like, not for me, other than maybe some ball and gun gamers. Have you heard of that terminology? I don't like it, but like the people who play Madden and Call of Duty and don't play anything else. But I think most people are like, sure, like I'll give that a go. I just like good video games. I'm going to play The Last of Us. There are a large swath of people that look at Forza, look at Gran Turismo, and say, no. No matter what, I am not playing that. I have no interest in that. Same with fighting games. And that'll always be the case, and that's why it gets labeled as niche. But I think that audience is still growing. Forza Horizon is a great gateway drug.
It is the ultimate gateway drug. There is not a racing. You look at the fighting game scene, and sadly, there's not one. There's not the one thing that you point to get people in on. And there's so many great ones that you go and it's like, well, my buddy really likes Guilty Gear, but I like Smash Bros. Well, Smash Bros is the one technically,
right.
but that's a platform fighter.
Doesn't even count it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Sakurai qualifies that as a party game.
And I think that it is a party game. Smash is Smash, dude. Like that was college, right? And so yeah, I think that you go and have that sort of distinction where Forza Horizon, if anyone's like, hey, I kind of want to play a racing game, the answer is Forza Horizon 5. Period. Bar none. Like GT, overwhelming. Like it's a lot. Like and then you look at even the motorsport series, it's like, why wouldn't you just get them introduced on Horizon? Because you get the Need for Speed fans, you get the Burnout fans, you get anyone that's ever played a racing game hopping in on it, and then you also get the people that have never hopped in, like your boy, and then it's just like, holy smokes, this is awesome. So I think that Forza Horizon 6 is a lot bigger of a game. Forza Horizon 6 is going to be a top selling game this year, and it's on Game Pass, and it's on PC, and it's on the it's not gonna be on PlayStation for at least a certain amount of time, which I find a little bit odd. Yeah, that makes sense. First 6-ish months, that which we can get into on should they even be doing that or not. But I think that this game is going to be a needle mover for Xbox's portfolio. I would not be shocked if it is nominated for Game of the Year. Very few games in a niche like that, in a fighting game niche, in a racing game niche, can get nominated for Game of the Year. If anyone can, it is Forza Horizon 6 because it is starting to grow that bubble. Like you said, it's niche, but it's really starting. Like, it won IGN's Game of the Year. Enough people are willing to sit down and fight for this game because it's as good as it is to go and be like, hey, is it ever going to win Game of the Year? No. But like at Jeff's show, but like, could it be one of the 6? I think that there's a chance. So that presentation, the hard part is it's not exciting. It's not like this thing, but it's also high quality, and that's cool. Beast of Reincarnation. I want to bring in a Wild Ginger who's talking about Beast. Beast Reincarnation shot up the hype list for me. It's just a purely fascinating game. I can't stop thinking about it. I know people said it looked rough or choppy in areas, and personally, the arena is looking similar. Feels pretty bad, but I want this game to do well and be solid because I want it to be a slap in the face to the Pokemon company that they are misusing and totally squandering Game Freak's potential. If they would just let them cook and not rush out these half-baked Pokemon games just because they want Pokemon to be in the zeitgeist and talked about every year. It's absolutely frustrating because Game Freak has to be better than the current generation of Pokemon has shown. I loved this writing so much reading it last night because I'm just like, this started with like, yeah, Beast of Reincarnation looks pretty cool, and then now it's like, fuck Pokemon Company, I'm out on this. I love it. I love the writing. But no, I for me, Beast of Reincarnation, it's shot up my hype list because we talked a little bit about this. The systems of Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's not the slow down combat too often in video games. You have some of those moments with the wolf where, hey, slow down in the middle of this boss fight, go and select a move. They'll go, cute doggo goes and does a sick move for big damage. You get back into the swing of things. Like, that sort of combat works for me, and it's really just not done by anyone else. Do I think that I'm going to play this game? It really comes down to timing. Summer, I think, is the best time possible for this game. Normally summer, you only get like 1 or 2 blockbuster-esque games. We've already seen the spring months or early summer months start to fill up with your 007s and Saros and a couple other titles. But like, if this can come out and be early July and it's the only game in town, I think I could pick this up. Do I think that it's going to review exceedingly well? No, I think that this is going to be a 7.5, 8 out of 10 action game that we get pretty often. Your Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, your first Berserker Kazan, and then it's going to be time to move on.
Right. I just don't know if this one's going to fall in the camp of Fallen Feathers or Stellar Blade for me. Because if it's Stellar Blade, I was all in on that, really enjoyed the combat, really enjoyed the world. Wu-Chang we played at SGF, and I was just like, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel great to play. I'm not really interested in the world that they're building out here. I only played a little bit of it, but that first boss fight that we played, I was like, this is fine. And I worry that this could be more in line with that. And if that's the case, then I think it will be for somebody. Like, people really love Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. So we'll see.
People love First Berserker Kazan.
Right, like, exactly. But it's seemingly just for the people who are really into Souls-like games. I don't even know if this is technically a Souls-like. Yeah. But
actually, I would say it's leaning more action-adventure, but at the same time, it also can get into the thing of Jack of all trades, master of none that you were talking about. Right. And I just don't know if I'm going to get to this one this year. It did not shoot up my hype list the way that it did for a Wild Ginger.
It's one of those games that if it, I hate saying this because I know that it bothers a lot of people, but if it reviews well and people are kind of banging down my door saying like, you need to play this, like then it will then come back onto my radar and I'll give it a go.
Real quick, just to hop in on that conversation, that's what review scores are for, dude. There's
too much to play, man.
Yeah, there's too much art.
And whether it be a new release or not, it's a constant balancing act of trying to figure out like, okay, like I have this amount of time. Do I fill it with something old in the back catalog, or do I play something that I missed earlier in the year, or do I play the new release that I was semi interested in, but it's at like a 79 on Metacritic? There's just too many.
Balls to juggle. Yeah, like the real quick though, like I look at like last year and it's like there were certain points where I'm full time with this and there's still too many games for me to play. Right. Like we had conversations where I was reviewing like 3 different things at once and it's like, whoa, like holy shit, this feels like a lot. Let alone you where you have a full-time job. And that's why the people, if you're listening to this, you're probably going and getting to only play a handful of video games a year, maybe a dozen or two if you're really grinding. And that's a game that is a 74 on Metacritic, if you might not want to go and purchase as much as something that is GOTY nominated and well regarded and everything. Right. So I totally agree with that take there. Anyways, so Beast Reincarnation, sure, I think that's solid. But I assume I'm not going to get to it. I would like to, though. This is one of those, if I have time, I will get to it. It's now on the radar. I think that it looked really solid. Kiln. My fear is this game's expectations. Is the expectation for this thing to sell 50,000 copies and just that be it, and then do whatever it does on Game Pass? Because if that's the case, I think that's going to nail that. I don't think that this is going to sell 1 million copies. I think that that's a fanciful idea. My expectations are hellishly low when it comes to this game, because I think that this looks cool. It looks interesting. We're going to play it on content because it's a fun multiplayer game. If we did not do this for content, we would not play that video game. 100%. I would not play that game. Mm-hmm. And so the hard part is when you're not talking about content creators, you're not talking about people that I know that there's a lot of people that love weird and different games. Vorpal Mad probably kills their #1 favorite game on the planet right now, right? I think that this game is going to be fun. I think that's going to have charm and heart and legitimately be good. Double Fine doesn't really throw out stinkers. They pull out creative and fun video games. I just am not there with it.
I think best case scenario for this game, is this coming to Steam?
I don't know. I can pull that up real quick.
Best case scenario is that we're not talking about the Steam numbers 2 weeks after release being egregiously low. But I can see that happening where it's like, oh, dude, Kiln came out 2 weeks ago and it has 200 people playing it on Steam right now.
I got Microsoft Windows, Series X, PlayStation 5. So okay. Steam. Yep, it is coming to Steam on Xbox One. So yeah, I think that is going to be played by a very few amount of people. But I also think that it could be the Foam Stars things where it's I don't think Square Enix was producing Foam Stars to be we're going to get so many people. This game, I also would love to see, hey, they make the deal, they shoot over to PlayStation, let's get this on PlayStation Plus Essential for that month. Let's get this on Xbox Game Pass. Let's get a player base and let it be $20. But also just let this... Double Fine is in such a good spot, in my opinion, in Xbox's portfolio. They get to do whatever they want. In this game didn't have a bunch of overhead with the dev time that they said, hey, we worked on this for a couple weeks and then we fleshed out the idea and this was a side project.
Apparently it's been in development for 10 years.
Yeah, it's been an idea that's been rotating around. Yeah. But I think that this is one of those, hey, it's small, it's not this major paycheck thing. Yeah. And then, then you make Psychonauts 3. Then you make the next big Tim Schafer written video game that's going to melt your mind and be awesome and make you think about the world differently.
I think for Xbox and Double Fine to consider this game a huge success, it would need a small but dedicated community.
Yeah.
And I could see that happening.
Yeah, well, Double Fine only gets that. But the issue is I just don't think that they get it for this, sadly. Mm-hmm. And when I'm just reading the tea leaves on this, I'm I love weird video games. And I was joking, we're going to play this tonight if it Shadow drops. I also just this had like if this shadow dropped and gave you something to play today and get excited about Xbox and Team Green, that would have been so nice.
That would have been very helpful for the narrative on this game.
Yeah, because it's coming out in spring. We talk about it right now. The spring is starting to fill up and starting to get messed up. You have probably a Nintendo Direct in a couple weeks. You have a State of Play in a couple weeks. It's going to get even more full. Like, I don't know.
I'm curious if anybody's super stotoked for this.
I haven't seen anyone.
Get into the comments if you are and let us know why.
And then Fable. I've rewatched the Fable section of this presentation 3 times now. So I've seen it a total of 4 times. It's around number 6 or 7 on my anticipated list at this point. It was at 10 initially. It has shot up because you're right. It did sort of what it had to do, which is just show life, show a pulse, like be a video game. The reason that I am more excited about it is the combat really did speak to me. Where it's like third-person melee combat when you're not doing the Souls thing normally is not perfect, but like seeing the magic, seeing the UI, seeing how much fun it's going to be to run around this world and kick a chicken or like go and fight just like a normal the giant chicken flaming fire mon. I'm like, all that weapons. Looks fun. Like all that like combat speaks to me as a gamer. The RPG mechanics, I'm not a Bethesda RPG guy. Like everyone knows that at this point about the channel that like Elder Scrolls 6 happens. Connor, you're going to give it the old college try a lot more than me because you enjoy Skyrim more than myself and the Fallout games more than me. Yeah. With that being said, the RPG mechanics, I was like, this could be the one that makes me an RPG fan because the gameplay seems way more up my alley than ever before. It looks great. There were some framing issues. I want to bring in Rathnot's right in with some of the framing stuff. There were some framing issues that did take me a little bit out of it. I don't think that it was like horrendous. Also, we don't know when that build was, right? Like we're talking about a game that is 7 or 8 months away, and we'll see where that lands.
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice it when we were watching.
Rathnoth did notice this. Rathnoth wrote in, which you can also write in over on Patreon if you're at that $10 tier or above. Rathnoth wrote in and said, I would rate the Dev Direct an 8. I thought everything they showed looked really fun. I didn't really understand why everyone was hating on it, and the issue of frame rates in these showcases is really starting to annoy me. These games are months away, and if there's even one frame drop, which honestly I never really noticed, then everyone freaks out and says the game is probably going to be bad. The gameplay they showed off for Fable looked awesome and really unique and fun. People did the same thing to 007 First Light. I wish what the gameplay was actually like was the main focus and not the performance. I feel it really derails the conversation around the actual games. I completely agree. Like my critique on 007 First Light is the frames are there. You can critique it a little bit, but like what did we actually just see? Like what is the content? What's the meat and potatoes of what you're gonna be playing? And this is one of those like, I assume come SGF time, there's going to be previews about Fable and how it runs and people getting hands-on and stuff like that. Like, this game is not going to live or die, in my opinion, by frame rate, unless it's like
it will be 30 frames per second.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
We're talking about a massive open world RPG. Like, I understand that people care. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably care about frame rate, just in general. But the masses that are picking up a PS5 where you can play this and everything, the people that are picking this up on a PC, they're like, oh, I like fantasy RPGs, I like Skyrim, maybe you played a Fable game many years ago. Like, you're not like, oh man, frames are really rough here, unless they are really rough, unless it is actually an issue that's interfering with your gameplay. But what they showed for the RPG mechanics, I could see absolutely firing up all the RPG fans, somebody that wants a game like this. And then when it comes to the combat, it's like, boom, that's exactly what I want in a game like this. I've had a thought. I don't know in my brain if I could have seen better combat for this game. Like would there be like combat that like I could imagine that looks better than the combat that they've shown? And it's not to say that like I love Souls combat. Like give me a parry all day long. I don't want that in this game. I want to have a sword. I want to have a bow. I want to be in a fantasy world facing goblins and like a bunch of random enemies that with cool designs. And I think that the way the gameplay was playing out completely spoke to me. So when you have Forza, when you have Fable, these games that like real talk could be game of the year contenders for both of them, and then you fill it out with Kiln, Double Fine being weird, which but once again, I'm all about Double Fine being weird. I love that Double Fine gets to exist in this pocket. That doesn't make this game for me, but I'm very excited that they get to do that. And then Beast of Reincarnation being what it is, great showcase, like a great time. And I also think that this show goes and adds more questions than it gives answers to, sadly, though, when it comes to the release date. Because now, Connor, I got to ask you, are we seeing Fable this year?
No. And off of what Rathnoth said about the frame rates, I think the only thing that indicates to me is that game has a decent chance of getting pushed. I don't think they'll ship it with a super poor frame rate. And if that's the case, then they might just need a little bit more time. And then you add in the rumblings across the industry about that game potentially not coming out in 2026. Now that we know that they're shooting for autumn, I think that there's a chance that it just gets pushed to early 2027. And Xbox always pushes a game. They never get everything out the door that they say they are going to in any given year. So I wouldn't. I can't see that not happening this year.
I could see this game getting pushed potentially. Here's what I imagine. I think that their like safety net is probably about 3 months of like, hey, we're gonna push it a couple months and maybe up to 3 months if it were a framing issue or something like that. But if this game is coming out in September, which by the way, I think this game's coming out in late September is my guesstimate on this. I think autumn's such a weird term, and this is totally just reading the tea leaves. I've been wrong before, but when I think of autumn, I think of like early fall. I don't think of the dog days of falls in November and December. Am I crazy for thinking that?
My assumption was that they used the word autumn because people in Europe say autumn instead of fall.
Interesting.
But I do not know if that's the case or not. I'm just kind of
shooting from the hip on
making an assumption there.
Yeah, I think that it's a weird thing to go and use autumn. I'm looking to see if they used autumn before. No, that just said it's coming 2023 for Forza Motorsport was what I just looked up. I thought that they said fall for Forza Motorsport 3 years ago at this point. Holy crap, we've done a lot of dev directs in the past 4 years. But I think
Redfall was on that.
What?
Redfall was in that.
Yeah, Redfall was on that showcase. Wait, it was Redfall, Minecraft Legends, Elder Scrolls 6 Online, and then Forza Motorsport and Redfall.
Elder Scrolls Online, not 6 Online.
What?
You said Elder Scrolls 6 Online.
Elder Scrolls Online. But yeah, and by the way, 1, 2, 3 dates out of 5. Oh, sorry, 4 dates out of 5 games. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. Like, that's the thing that people are not talking enough about. Dev Directs, we get dates. Last year, Expedition 33 date. Game of Love, South of Midnight date. Like Doom date. Like all their big titles had dates, and it was able to set up a really interesting second half of the year. I would say my Fable temperature check, I do think that it comes out this year.
I hope so.
And I think if it comes out this year, it has a good shot to be GOTY nominated and potentially Game of the Year.
I think if it comes out this year, it is a shoo-in to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Oh, this would be so sick, dude.
I would place money on that.
Yeah. Which how often do we get to say that about an Xbox game?
Right.
But I think that this also goes in, invites the questions. I'm going to toss it out now. Xbox Showcase 2026. We are going to see Fable again, probably get the date then. You'd assume. Or if it does get pushed to 27, they would announce it gets pushed to 27. I don't think that they would do that, though, when you're having this whole 25th anniversary. You want to make sure that the dominoes are lined up, at least during that showcase, to say, hey, we still have all the big 4. You're playing Forza right now. We have these 3 other major games. With that being said, what is the last game at that showcase?
Like the one that gets the big breakdown?
What's the big breakdown?
Gears.
Yeah. And do you think that Gears is more likely this year than Fable still after that showcase?
I don't know, man. I could easily see Gears coming out a month after Fable and being the game that potentially gets pushed to 2027. My prediction now, based off of what we know after this direct, is Forza, then Halo a month or 2 later in the summer, then Fable, and then late October, potentially Gears.
You want to know something that I realized could be really special? We've all been talking about Halo with the anniversary date, November. You want to know how you get away from that and retain the hype, like the real fucking hype? May, Forza, Shadow Drop on the showcase, Xbox Showcase, Halo. Like that, awesome. Like, can you imagine, like, hey, we're having this big moment. You have Fable coming out in September. You got Gears of War E-Day in October.
Yeah. I
play
think
Halo
it would be
right
awesome
now.
if they go radio silent until that showcase on Halo and then shadow drop it.
I don't see that happening, sadly. I feel like the Halo Studios is going to yap about this game a lot. Like the fact that people have gone hands on is great.
You need this game to have a moment, though. No multiplayer. It's just the campaign.
That's why
get everybody talking about it, super stoked about it. You shadow drop it. Everyone's like, I gotta play that right now.
Oh, dude, it would define the summer for some people, being like, hey, do your 25th anniversary, we all hop back in this summer. 4 people, in a Warthog, getting after it. I think that like that could be a slam dunk. I do think that this like, the thing that sucks about this is I don't want to see Fable again at another showcase. Like, I'm fine with seeing more of it, but we just saw like what I could want to see. Maybe they do a 7-minute, here's a level.
What we got at the showcase for Indiana Jones, the year that it came out, I think we'll get something very similar to that for Fable this summer.
Well, for those it was a story trailer in a event set piece for Indiana Jones.
I think we see a 4-minute trailer.
Yeah, my hope is that we get a minute trailer with the date, a bunch of quick shots and everything. I don't want them to go long. And then I hope Summer Game Fest media gets hands on with it. You're able to go and hear, hey, this game runs amazing. It's going to be the RPG of your dreams. This is Goaty Watch immediately. Because like at this point, the only thing that it is not confirmed in my mind is how does it play? How does it feel on the sticks? And that's what the reason you get media on it is to go and have that confirmation of it's going to also play phenomenally well. And you're not going to be able to convince people that in a showcase setting. But yeah, I also do want to toss this out there as much as I would love one more thing. Halo could be that showcase, a back thing of the showcase. And that could be you do 10 minutes or you do 20 minutes on Halo. Hey, here's all the changes. Here's all the updates. We're going to run you through the start of the first mission of the game that you've played 1,000 times already. Here's how Sprint works with that. Here's how every single update that we're making to this game works. And then you could go and shadow drop it. But I think that having Gears or Halo be that 20-minute section puts Xbox in a extremely strong position this year. Like right now,
does Halo really need to be sold?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, what is a 20-minute breakdown really going to do?
I think that what it does is shows everyone that they still have the goods. Because you want it's Halo and Xbox. That's why you do it.
I thought they already did that with
the first showing with those.
Yeah, they showed a ton of gameplay and let people go hands-on with it.
Yeah, I don't think
if you're in after that, you're in. If you're out, you're going to be out no matter what.
What if there's multiplayer?
There isn't. They've already said that.
I know, but what if there's some sort of multiplayer thing with Halo and they want to go to Halo Studios?
Like it's a separate thing.
Yeah, and you go and say, hey, we're going to Halo Studios. Here's the campaign involved. Shadow drop today. Also, for 25th anniversary, we do have a Halo multiplayer experience in November for the 25th.
Yeah.
And like, I dream of that. Top 50 just released this past Thursday. Halo 3, just like, playing Halo multiplayer is always the best time. Like it reminds me a lot of playing Forza, where it's like playing Forza just always is fun. Playing Halo is always a very fun time. I'm stoked for Xbox this year. At this point, what's your expectation hype level for Xbox 2026 at this point?
Because the best lineup they've had in a decade, probably. And if they can actually deliver on all these promises, I think it's going to be a great year for them. But I do not think it's going to move the needle for console sales.
Oh, well, no, they're not in the console market anymore.
Right. Last bit on this. I hate the Dev Direct format. I let the games just speak for themselves, and I just always struggle getting through these just because I think that there's a lot of dead air, really, that like I don't need to know every little minute detail. Like I just want to see the game. And even then, half of the time I don't really even want to see the game because I want to be surprised.
My biggest issue with this was the games that they pulled for this weren't great for this format.
Yeah, it's like, do I really need a Forza breakdown?
No.
I feel like I know what that game is without even seeing it.
You don't need a Forza breakdown. I think that Kiln would have done better as a quick little, hey, Double Fine. If it freaking shadow dropped, I think the conversation is completely different to get people immediately on it and everything. But like, that was long in the tooth, made Brady go really this is what we're doing right now and everything. Then you have Beast of Reincarnation, a game that I do think needed a substantial moment, and I'm down for that. And then Fable really needed the moment. But like I go and I think about Hi-Fi Rush, that 10-minute breakdown. First time we're ever really hearing about this game, shadow dropped all-time perfect. That's how you do a dev direct moment.
Would a regular trailer for Hi-Fi Rush not have sold you in the same way?
I don't think so. Like
Really?
going and seeing the combat after the fact, seeing the world. It was like 5 minutes into that trailer that I literally was, or the 5 minutes into the dev direct where I was like, oh shit, I'm really in on this. And then I go back to like Expedition 33 going long, South of Midnight going a little bit longer, Doom the Dark Ages going a little bit longer. Like some of those presentations, when it's a game that has some type of question marks and you want to hear that stuff, it works. The issue was, I'm one of the biggest Forza fans on the planet. I completely agree that the Dev Direct is the wrong format to show off Forza. Like, that is just the issue. But the content that was there, I do think, at the end of the day, all things considered, for a Dev Direct was great. 8 out of 10. The good thing the rest of the news week is really small and short, Connor. Headline: Ubisoft has canceled 6 games, including the Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake. This is Chris Gullion at VGC. Quote, as part of a larger announcement that it is conducting a, quote, major organizational, operational, and portfolio reset, end quote, the company also stated that it had, quote, conducted a thorough review of its content pipeline, end quote, over the past 2 months. This review led to the decision to, quote, refocus the portfolio, reallocate resources, and comprehensively revise its roadmap over the next 3 years, end quote, it said. Ubisoft said its focus will be on a, quote, return to expectational or exceptional levels of quality on the open world adventure segment, end quote, and to, quote, step change the group's position in the games as a service native experience segment, end quote. As a result of this, Ubisoft says it has discontinued 6 games that it felt, quote, do not meet the new enhanced qualities as well as more selective portfolio prioritization criteria, end quote. This means the Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake has been canceled, as well as 4 unannounced titles, including 3 new IPs and a mobile title. The identity of the 6th game has not been clarified. Ubisoft also announced that it's delaying 7 other games to, quote, ensure enhanced qualities benchmarks are fully met, end quote. This includes the unannounced title initially planned for fiscal year 26, ending in March 2026, that has been delayed to fiscal year 27. It has been believed for some time that the unannounced title in question is a long-reported but not yet confirmed remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, especially given that the listing for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced appeared on Peggy's website last month. End quote. Connor? Just bomb went off in Ubisoft this week. Prince of Persia was supposed to potentially come out a week ago. Shadow dropped was what the people were saying. We talked about it on this show. Many cancellations, you assume many layoffs to come with it. A complete restructuring of what Ubisoft is doing. Where are you at with all this news?
Yeah, this is all a bummer. It feels like Ubisoft just cannot get out of their own way. It seemed like they might be on a better track, potentially. We talked last week about them getting Sands of Time remake out, Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake out. Then they were working on the Splinter Cell remake, a new Division game, Far Cry 7 is apparently imminent, potentially. It's like they have a lot that seemed like it was going to be pretty good, and now it seems to be just completely crumbling. So hopefully they can figure this out and get back in the good graces of gamers. It feels like they've just stumbled over the last few years, whether that be over-promising on stuff like what was the pirate game?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, the first quadruple A game, and that completely underdelivered. Assassin's Creed Shadows, you're going to Japan, the setting that everybody was looking for the longest time, and it was a bit middling. 7 out of 10 from you and a lot of others. Just a good video game, not a great video game. There was a time during the PS3 generation that it felt like they were firing on all cylinders with like stuff like Far Cry 3 was like super beloved. Assassin's Creed Black Flag at the end of that generation. Assassin's Creed 2 earlier in the generation.
Watch Dogs with being a new IP and like
everyone was
getting
like,
people about.
That was going to be the next gen game. It underdelivered, unfortunately, but it looked like a technical marvel. Dude, like everyone was like, wow, that looks amazing. And it didn't end up being anything super special, but it was pretty interesting. And it feels like over the course of the PS4 generation and now the PS5 generation, they just put out mediocre games. Like Star Wars Outlaws should have been a huge hit. It just was all right. So hopefully they can get back on track in the near future, but I'm not holding my breath. It feels like they really need to fix a lot of stuff. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of games here that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in the works.
Yeah.
What is happening over there, dude?
I'm so curious with that game. We'll tie that in at the end here. I think that obviously this sucks, but also this is a new story that I get. I don't think that anyone's looking at Ubisoft as like they're firing on all cylinders when it comes to the quality of the games. Like, did the idea of a Sands of Time remake sound awesome? Yeah. Does it absolutely blow chunks that this game is not in our hands right now? Yeah. But the reason that it's not in our hands, you have to assume, is it just was not there. Yeah. It just was not working. The fun was not there. And that sucks. That sucks so much. The fact that this Black Flag remake that has been so heavily rumored that like we thought we were going to be playing in the next couple months is seemingly delayed. It's like, that stinks, but also that needs to be right. They need to nail that. That has to be perfect when it releases.
How can they not nail it? I feel like this is a slam dunk, home run, dude. What is going on?
This should print money. This should be such a
just
good
make
life
it look
fest.
a little bit better.
Yeah,
and that's all you got to do.
And then
it's
just
one of the most beloved games of all time.
I really want Ubisoft to turn the ship around, but this story reminds me a lot of the WB story from last year around this time, where it was, hey, they're shaking everything up and they're just gonna be working on the IPs that work. I think that they really need to sit down and be like, okay, how do we get out the right Assassin's Creed? How do we get out the interesting stories that people expect from an Assassin's Creed game? Where are we at with Far Cry? Why do we not have Far Cry 7 announced at this point? Like, that should be announced, and that should be this year. Like, if not this year, early next year. I think that they cannot get out of their own way when it comes to getting games out the door, and also they can't get out of their own way when it comes to development time, just in general, of like what their expectation is and the reality of how long it takes to develop games nowadays. Because I think that everyone loves the idea of having banger fiscal years, when in reality, that's just not where the game development's at. You get 1 or 2 games out a year that's going to move the needle for your portfolio and keep you afloat. Hopefully you get a couple bangers in there. I really wish that this just was not the case. Obviously, I wish that we got Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, but I also understand the necessary shakeup for a business that by all accounts is floundering, like expertly floundering. The fact that Ubisoft has not been sailed. How many times have we had predictions or just even conversations where we're kicking in the car being like, how is Ubisoft still not sold by someone? People were discussing like selling IP and everything. Is like, well, selling IP doesn't really work when you have the portfolio that they do, because why wouldn't you just, if you think that like if somebody else believes that they can make an amazing Assassin's Creed game, why can't you make an amazing Assassin's Creed game?
Right.
Like, this is just a large issue. You still have Rainbow Six making the money. You still have the idea
though?
I think that the game is still doing all right. I think
Siege is doing well, probably, but like, why is there not a sequel to that?
I mean, they need to work through that.
I feel like they did like the hard reboot thing with Siege X or Siege 10 or whatever, and it's like, I don't feel like that moved the needle necessarily. You look over at something like Destiny, and it feels like the big moment for that franchise is the new entries. Like, you have these big expansions, and for the case of Siege, like they have like their different seasons, but like it feels like the people who play Siege, and you're not getting a new audience in there. It's too daunting. It's the same with Destiny. If you want a new audience, at some point you need to reset completely, and I think it's wild that Siege hasn't done that.
CSGO too. Like, if that, what a brilliant move that was. But then you also see Overwatch 2 flounder and be not this amazing release where it recaptures everyone.
I think they abandoned Overwatch too early, where Overwatch was still popular when they came off of it. You look at Destiny 1, Destiny 1 was waning, and then they're like, okay, now we're going to do Destiny 2. Siege has been waning for years and years at this point. It's like, you got to reset the board a little bit.
Yeah, which I hope they do. I'm very curious to see when's the next time we hear about an Ubisoft project, just in general. It sucks that like Prince of Persia is like this very well storied franchise, and like the Lost Crown's so good, and then like we don't even get like that studio gets shut down and everything. It's just like, what are they doing over there? Like, it is a massive issue, and this is an issue. I
promise you, the Prince of Persia studio that made the Lost Crown, they were not the problem.
Yeah,
why did they get canned?
Like, which that is a that from top to bottom, this needs to be reworked. And that's like, I see cancellations normally as like a very negative thing because it only means job losses, and that's not what you want to see in the industry. But also, like, if this is the difference between plugging up a couple holes and really starting working to make sure this boat stays afloat, sure, because they are 1 or 2 moves away, it seems like at this point, to completely sinking, going into bankruptcy, and or trying to sell themselves out. Like, I'm surprised that we're not in a spot where they're going to pull the Bethesda, where they're going to go and announce Far Cry 6, AC Black Flag remake, the next major Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell a remake, and then sell. Like I would go and get your stock price as high as possible and then get out of Dodge, because like right now they do have massive issues. But if they truly believe that they can make these games great, they have to actually make these games great. How do you not have that Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake out yet? How is it not exactly what you just said? Like, just the fact that Oblivion remake is able to come out and do the numbers it did, it's like, this game is going to be hella sold. It's going to get purchased up and down. Like, why, or what's the friction point here? Like, how does this game not get out the door? So I don't know. It's a massive issue, but my hope for Ubisoft in some of these projects is like, we need to start seeing the promise that it was set out with a lot of these announcements, and then it all starts, in my opinion, with the AC Black Flag remake.
Insane that they're calling it resynced.
Yeah,
just call it remake. Resynced is gonna confuse people.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Control with Resonant. They're just like, is that a spin-off? Is that a
yeah.
Just call it the number 2.
That's why the Switch 2 is called the Switch 2.
Yep.
Just to avoid confusion.
Yep. Everyone that thinks that the Nintendo Switch 2 should have been called the Super Switch, I have a hard realization for you. That would have been a disastrous move. All right. Part of me wants to bring in the Nintendo Switch 2 story right now, but we're going to get to there in a second. Headline: after release date woes, Marathon coming out for real this time in March. This is for James at Polygon. Quote, Marathon, the upcoming extraction shooter from Bungie, has a new gameplay trailer. More importantly, it also has a firm release date now, Thursday, the 5th of March. Pre-orders are available now through PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Steam, and you can check out the trailer below. The trailer shows off some of the weapons you'll find on Tau Ceti 4, the lost colony you'll be scavenging as a runner, defending against hostile security forces, other runners, and more. We also get to see an exciting array of gadgets, including a grappling hook that can seemingly latch onto nothing and an enormous shield, great for tight spaces. Marathon was originally scheduled for release in September 2025, but after an underwhelming response to alpha playtesting, Bungie delayed it indefinitely, eventually settling on a March 2026 release window. That's now confirmed. End quote. Connor, let's just start with the temperature check of Bungie. Where are you at with Bungie? Not Bungie, Marathon, and what they're doing.
With my excitement or how I think this game's going to do?
Your personal excitement. Let's start there.
I'm very excited for this game.
Yeah.
And I think this game's going to be fucking huge.
You continue to speak. I want to pull in like the exact number.
They are saying all the right things. They have addressed all the issues that came out of the alphas seemingly. The thing that's really selling me is the idea of like the raid. You have something that you're working towards, and you can then go in and get like some really you can do these crazy challenges and get some really exciting loot. I think that sounds fucking awesome. Also, this game jumps off the screen at you with its art style, and I thought the art style was cool and interesting when we first saw it. I wouldn't necessarily have considered this game to be beautiful, like a visual powerhouse. Whatever they did over the last 6 months, they got the secret sauce in there, man. This game looks fucking unreal, man. Yeah. It looks really good, and it's going to have the patented, amazing Bungie gameplay that we've known to come and love from Destiny and Halo. Like, I think this game's going to be fucking awesome.
You know who else thinks this game's going to be awesome? Apparently everyone. I'm reading from Darren Bontis over at GameSpot. The headline reads: Marathon sees explosive Steam sales growth after release date reveal. And then the quote is: following the reveal of its release date, Marathon has seen a surge of interest as PC players have begun locking in pre-orders for Bungie's sci-fi extraction shooter. At the time of writing, Marathon is the 5th best-selling game on Steam in the US and 10th globally on the Steam charts. Free-to-play games like Marvel Rivals and Counter-Strike 2 are ahead of it, only naturally given the low price of nothing for those titles, and Arc Raiders is still in the top spot for now. End quote.
Do I think this game's going to be bigger than Arc Raiders?
No.
I don't know. Probably not. But if it's even sniffing Arc Raiders numbers, that's a huge success, dude.
Actually, here's your hot take. Here's your headline from the show. This game's gonna be bigger than Arc Raiders.
Okay.
This game's gonna be bigger than Arc Raiders.
I don't think that's crazy to say.
And here's the reasoning. I played Arc Raiders for the first time, had a great time. Shout out Brady. What a fun adventure that was. And I was not immediately hooked because the systems that were running and everything, it was a lot at once. And I wasn't there day one. It was hard to hop in. Arc Raiders right now does have that little friction point of, hey, you're not able to hop in immediately day one and right now, multiple months post release and figure out all the systems. Marathon's gonna have that great moment of, hey, we're all gonna hop in day one. Personally, I'm stoked for it. I'm gonna play the crap out of this, I think. And most importantly, I think the game's just gonna be a better video game.
Yeah.
I think that it's gonna be an awesome extraction shooter. They have done the number one thing that live service games need to do: listen to the fans. Mm-hmm. They went and saw the uproar with the alpha and was like, oh shit, we can not just release this thing.
How do you not have prox chat?
Yeah.
It seems essential for this genre. They added it in. I imagine it's going to lead to a lot of funny, hilarious moments. So.
Yeah, I think that this is a game that every big streamer is going to play. Like, we're talking about Bungie coming out with a video game.
And you already have that audience, the hardcore Destiny audience that are going to buy this no matter what. So I saw a good clip of these guys playing Destiny or talking about Marathon, and they're like, yeah, we need to support this game no matter what, because if this game isn't good, we're not going to get Destiny 3. And it's like, yeah, that is true.
Correction. I think that you will get Destiny 3, but it's going to be an amalgamation of Bungie and PlayStation Studios people. I think that this is do or die for Bungie working just as solely Bungie. A lot of people were curious when I was making predictions about Marathon on the predictions episode why I was talking about PlayStation. PlayStation owns Bungie. Just a quick reminder for you.
I was also talking about Bungie and PlayStation with my showcase prediction.
Dude, it says talking a lot of Marathon recently.
And if Marathon fails, and I guess Destiny 3 fails probably, or they don't even get Destiny 3 out the door, then PlayStation would just own that entire development studio, and they would probably disperse them to a bunch of different studios that they've kind of spawned off of Bungie at this point.
For sure. I expect this game to rip. I'm like all in. Connor, I saw the voice cast, and then Connor also sent me over the voice cast. Like, the voice cast in this game is ridiculous. Like, the amount of Avengers level talent that they have in here.
And why are they here? It's like, what story are they trying to tell with these people?
I think that
is this really necessary? And if it is necessary because they have something interesting to say, it's like, that sounds really fucking cool.
I also just think that you want to go and make sure that the games that are voicing this, I think that the discussion of the AI voice on one side with the Arc Raiders and everything and some of the issues there compared to, hey, you're paying a lot of highly regarded talent in the industry. It's an interesting conversation. I'm I think a lot of people are just curious, especially with me, when it comes to AI and Arc Raiders and why I haven't hopped in and everything. It's it just mainly was a timing thing. I think that I could have had fun in Arc Raiders, but now this is on the radar. If we have a stream plan for it, we are good to go and make sure that we get time in on Marathon. And I can't wait. I assume that this is going to be a big thing. The question is Brady. And when I say Brady, I'm talking about the average Arc Raiders player. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be hopping off Arc Raiders to hop into this? Or are you going to be sticking with Arc Raiders when it's all said and done? And guess what? I think this is going to be one of those moments where they're going to hop off. I think they're going to move over to this other game because I think the game is just going to be better. Mm-hmm. In the same moment that Apex came out when Fortnite was still cruising, some people went over to Apex and now it just became their battle royale. Because it was better for them, better gunplay. The ping system was a little bit better initially. There was the reboot systems were in place. You had a moment where that game was better than Fortnite, in my opinion. When it just came to some of the systems, I like Fortnite's art style, I like a lot of that world. But I think Apex was a better game, and then I think Fortnite made the necessary adjustments, the same way that Arc Raiders will, by the way. But I think that when you're talking about art design, when you're talking about gunplay, when you're talking about a game that you just see and are that looks interesting. I've seen Arc Raiders gameplay many times on clips, and you have great fun moments in Arc Raiders. I don't think that the visual identity of Arc Raiders is anything special. Whereas Marathon, I think it's extremely special. And since that first trailer in 2023, it's whoa, this is what Bungie's cooking up. I'm really curious to see where this lands. My assumption is it will top Steam charts when it comes out. That is my assumption. This will be the number one game on Steam when it goes and rolls out. And I think that it's going to be king for quite some time until either the next Call of Duty comes out, or Kratos makes a resurgence and makes the necessary pivot, or it's just going to be the Extraction King because it's Bungie.
I would also just not be shocked if it completely stumbles out the gate and just doesn't get an audience. Like,
me too. Yes, this is my prediction, but I also would not be shocked if it shits the bed.
Sidebar, voice cast, Jennifer English. Is Jennifer English the biggest name in video game voice acting going right now?
I think the Baconator still has it.
I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Just because they're coming off of this win?
Baldur's Gate and Expedition 33, two of the biggest games of all time.
Yeah, I think that's a fair...
Jennifer English attached to that
it's a fair take.
Main character role.
It's a totally fair take. I think that the 20-year career...
Troy Baker's gone pretty quiet. Well, I guess Higgs last year.
He was Higgs last year. He was Indiana Jones the year before. Like...
Yeah.
Dude's still producing a bunch of stuff, and he's in a bunch of things. I think that the question is... When do you start paying? If you're somebody that's been paying attention to voice acting for a long time, you're probably pointing to the Baconator. But Jennifer English is so freaking impressive.
Jennifer English has all the momentum.
Yeah,
right now.
she's also just a force, dude. So freaking talented. Oh my gosh, Marathon's gonna be a good time, or at least I hope.
Do we know anything about a beta?
No, I don't think so.
It's got to be soon. We're playing this game in a month. Like
a month. A month in a week or so. Yeah, very exciting. Show's not done. Headline: Nintendo Switch 2 sold 4.4 million units in the U.S. in 2025. Remains the fastest selling console in U.S. history. This is Chris Golan over at VGC. Quote, as reported by Matt Piscatella of U.S. market research company Circana, Switch 2 was the best-selling hardware in terms of both unit sales and dollar sales in December 2025 and across the entire year. This means it, quote, remains the fastest selling video game hardware platform in tracked history, end quote, Piscatella notes, pointing out that no other console has reached 4.4 million sales in the US in its first 7 months. Unit sales of Switch 2 are currently 35% ahead of PS4 during the same time frame and, quote, nearly double, end quote, those of the original Switch. Piscatella said that Circana's pre-launch forecast was 4.3 million sales, meaning Switch 2 is slightly better than this. Also, great call, 4.3, 4.4, come on. While other platforms saw year-on-year declines in sales, Switch 2 helped to offset this, resulting in hardware spending increased by 6% overall in December 2025 compared to December 2024, and 9% overall in 2025 compared to 2024. End quote. Switch 2, Connor, just crushing. I think that we all had some hesitancy when it came to the November timeframe where PS5 did outsell Switch 2 when it came to the holiday season, your Black Friday sales and everything. With that being said, we didn't talk about it on the show. I want to talk about the fact that PS5 did have a sale at least. Yep. Nintendo did have a sale going.
Sale to its original price.
Yeah. And nothing bad. It's ridiculous. That is an asinine sale, yes.
Yeah.
But it's continuing to crush. Is there anything that like stems off of this for you where you're like, do you expect this to continue to just crush, or do you think with Nintendo's upcoming year that maybe it's not going to go and succeed the way that it has in the first 6 months?
I think based off of the software lineup for 2026, I think it's a bit TBD, but there's just so much goodwill built up from the Switch 1 generation that I think that's a big reason for Switch 2 success in general. Like, yeah. I think you can look at the software lineup for 2025, and a lot of people would argue it's a little bit weaker than you would hope, but Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, Kirby Air Riders exclusive to the platform,
Metroid and Pokemon. Yeah, I know that there's a
play on Switch 1, but I think a lot of people know about the infamous status of Scarlet and Violet on Switch 1, and we're probably like, okay, like I'm willing to make the upgrade to Switch 2 for Pokemon Legends Z to A. I do not think that Fire Emblem or Tamagotchi Life and Rhythm Heaven are system sellers by any means. I imagine they have something up their sleeve to push hardware in 2026 that's probably at the very least Pokemon Gen 10.
That's a slam dunk.
Yes. But they probably have something else, I would imagine. But yeah, I think it's going to continue to sell well. And yeah, they're just kind of riding the high of Switch 1 into Switch 2.
I want to bring in, this is a dual conversation. Connor was like, hey, there's a Kingdom Hearts story. We got to bring it into CGNC as
real
always.
Quick, on Switch 2 real fast, just a reminder that the internet's not real and that the conversations that are happening on there are just a whole bunch of fucking noise that, oh, Switch 2's terrible, $80 games, they'll brick your console, don't buy this thing, boycott it. Just a whole lot of fucking noise. If the games are good and the hardware is solid, it's gonna sell well.
Yep.
I fucking love my Switch 2.
Yeah.
What a fucking steal too. When it comes to the price point of $450 in comparison to modern hardware, whether that be like the Xbox
Series,
the Xbox Ally X, worst name ever, which is like $1,000, and when you look at Steam machine's going to be $1,000. The next Xbox and PlayStation probably going to be in that ballpark. You look at the $450 price point, you're like, God damn, that is a fucking steal for what you're getting. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on it right now, and I know that this sounds stupid because I think a lot of people who have Steam Decks or ROG Allies or whatever have had this experience for years, but playing something of this quality on the go is simply mind-blowing.
Yeah.
If you had shown this to me as a kid, that I was going to be able to play something that looks like this on the go, it would have imploded my fucking brain. And it runs so great, and oh man, like it's just so impressive. This console's awesome. Yeah, just a lot of noise on the internet. I think those criticisms that I just pointed out that people were saying, fair criticisms.
No, fair
a lot of them are. There's some of them that I don't necessarily agree with, but I think at the end of the day, like I said, when the software is good and the hardware is good, it's gonna sell.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And the price is right too.
I want to bring in this last headline, Kingdom Hearts story. Kingdom Hearts Switch 2 ports reportedly coming soon, according to Nintendo leakers. This is Brand Knopp at Vice. Quote, when Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix was released on the Nintendo Switch in 2022, many players were disappointed that it was a cloud streaming version only. At the time, major third-party developers struggled with porting games over to the Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo handheld. However, that might have finally changed for Kingdom Hearts if a new leak is to be believed. According to a recent leak posted by Nash Weedle, a native Kingdom Hearts Switch 2 port could be announced soon. Quote, Express leak, Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece is coming natively to Switch 2. It's ready. Square Enix just needs to announce the release. Information verified by multiple sources. End quote. The leak claims the new collection is called Kingdom Hearts Integrum. Connor, this is up your alley. I also, by the way, I will touch on my Switch whole thoughts with this story in a second. But Kingdom Hearts Integrum, how stoked are you if this does exist?
I have nothing to say on this. I just wanted to hear you try to pronounce Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece. I'm just kidding. I'm super stoked to play this on the go. My favorite franchise of all time, Kingdom Hearts. The cloud version just does not fucking cut it. I cannot believe they did that. I think that the only reason that they did that was because they wanted Kingdom Hearts 3 on the platform.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think the Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 collection could probably run on Switch 1, but I hope they get these up and running properly. I would like to see 60 FPS. That would be nice, but we shall see. But yeah, just having this on the go is going to be awesome. Any excuse to play Kingdom Hearts again, I'll take it. Even if I've platinumed some of these games, like I've platinumed Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I booted it up and I was like, I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm just going to play the demo just to see how this runs. And then I'm like, fuck, I just love this game. Any excuse. And then the same thing's going to happen with Kingdom Hearts. I already know it. Where it's like, I don't need to be playing this game again, but I'm going to do it.
Real quick, people were talking about certain headlines and everything. And I was like, yeah, crazy week with Marathon, Prince of Persia, and the Dev Direct, big week. And then Connor just goes, and like at me in the Discord is just like Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, what headline? And I'm like, Kingdom Hearts 4 news, like what's happening? And it's this. But so I was like, it's got to be in the show and everything.
And it's just cool that they're going back to things that did not get proper ports. We saw it with Resident Evil 7.
Yep.
Did Resident Evil 8 get a cloud version on Switch? So yeah, we're getting a native Resident Evil 7 version on Switch 2, which got a cloud version. Cool that they're going back. Control, I think, has a cloud version
that checks
on Switch 1, so maybe they'll go back and do that. So it's good that we know that these are all on the table.
Yeah. The reason that I wanted to discuss the story, though, just in general, is are we seeing this in like 2 weeks?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And
it'll be out within a month of.
I was gonna say a little March Kingdom Hearts action never hurt anyone. Yeah, I think that with the Switch rumblings and going back to the previous story and everything, Switch is crushing. And the fact that like we're going to get a direct probably in the next 3 weeks. I think at the latest 3 weeks, February 5th is the rumored date at this point. I think that date is probably right. But we're going to get that. And we're going to get enough answers to questions that I think are so exciting. And there'll be one more thing in there. We will get information about something that we currently do not know. There will. That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
And then you also get to see the third-party support. I think that people are sleeping on the fact that this is a legitimate third-party system. And you playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on it shows that that is a good third-party system. It's able to run games properly. Which one was not able to do that?
It's also cool that I know that you can play a lot of these games on portable PCs like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally, but when you have a platform that they can develop specifically for, like a version 4, it allows it to run really well. Like this runs at a buttery smooth 30, and it does not falter ever in gameplay, which I know 30 isn't where you would like to see it. I would love it to be at 60, but I'll take a solid 30 over a choppy 60 any day of the week. And when I'm playing on the go, like I feel like I can take some of these concessions.
Yeah. Also, just want to toss it out there. We're talking about a system compared to a Steam Deck that has third-party support. It also has the Nintendo lineup. You're also able to play Nintendo classics if you want. You're able to play the next Mario game, the next Donkey Kong game, the next Kirby game. With all that being said, I think that like a big part of this year in the discussion of like how much they're going to crush, I think they're going to continue to freaking dominate, especially if you are bringing in the third party support like this Kingdom Hearts game, like whatever else. Like where the heck is Elden Ring? I don't know, but guess what? When Elden Ring comes out and it does run properly, because it's not coming out because it doesn't run properly, when it does run properly, that game's going to crush when it comes to sales. It's going to do very well. I think that we also assume Dustbloods is this year. You assume that we're obviously Fire Emblem this year, Yoshi, and then you bring in Gen 10. The fact that we're going to get like a probably a massive announcement. I don't think it's gonna be Mario. I think that the big one, the one that everyone's waiting for, whether it's a Zelda remake or it's a Mario thing, that's summer. I think that for this, we're gonna get, hey, maybe Splatoon Raiders is out in April, dude. Like that could be the case.
Yeah.
That wouldn't like blow my hair back by any means. Maybe there is a Kirby game that we don't know about. Luigi's Mansion we've discussed a little bit, stuff like that.
I think the biggest needle mover for how big Switch 2 is going to be in 2026 is Zelda, Mario, or Animal Crossing. If they can get one of those out the door in this year alongside Gen 10 Pokemon, Duskbloods, and Fire Emblem, it is going to be a fucking huge year.
We got to remember that Fire Emblem was never like this massive thing until Three Houses. Like Three Houses was a huge moment.
Listen to the next podcast.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
yeah, it's not a big, well, apparently they said 3DS was when it became an actual thing. I disagree with that. No, Three Houses is the moment.
It broke out with Awakening on 3DS.
You think?
Yes, 100%.
I think that mainstream like sales success though, you'd probably point to Three Houses.
You would point to Awakening.
Really? Yeah. Okay, interesting. I'm happy to be wrong. But yeah, I think that you go in and start to have that little bit of a needle mover. But the fact that you go in and can have something that can sell, I mean, like 4.4 million units in the United States. That's not everything, but like I don't think that we're going to see this massive sales number for Fire Emblem. But you want to know what would be massive? Would allow that number to be more massive? More sales on the console. You get out Pokemon, you get out Animal Crossing, and you're good to go. You're able to make it happen.
Right.
So yeah, I think that you go and have these sort of as your baseline, and then you get the sprinkle in of Mario Fever and Rhythm Heaven Groove and Tamagotchi Life. Like
I think it's going to be a slower first 6 months than you would probably hope.
You want to know what changes all that?
What?
The Dustbloods.
Yeah,
I think that.
I think even if the Dustbloods does come out, it's coming out like in June. If it's going to come out in the first 6 months.
I concur with that. I would say earliest is May. Like it could be February. Like February Direct being, if it is the 5th, we're talking about like 3 full months, and then you get into May. I wouldn't be shocked if that is the case where you do Mario Tennis Fever, you get out one more small thing.
Yoshi
would be so good for a little March game or an April game. The question too is like, are they going to do anything else for Mario Galaxy with the Super Mario Galaxy movie? I don't think so. I think that the Galaxy ports were that, and that's it. But like that's an interesting thing. But like when it comes to the Nintendo IP, you want to make sure that people are being fed something every month. And then I think that Dustbloods is such a like slam dunk if you're able to let this first half of the year be, hey, you got your Mario tennis game for your family, like everyone's having fun there. You give a small little solo experience, and then you do Dustbloods, and then you set up, hey, July Fire Emblem, October Luigi's Mansion 4. November Pokemon, and there's one more thing within all of that. I don't think it's gonna be Mario. Mario Maker 3 is interesting.
Yeah,
Mario Maker 3 is really interesting.
That'd be awesome.
I'm pretty sure that is.
Mario Maker.
I think that is the full running back the playbook hut height of 2019.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to see how this all lines up. This is not the predictions episode, by the way. I assume Connor that we get some sort of massive rumor about it next week, where it is a Shry guy, a Jeff Grubb, a very reputable source is like February 5th, it's happening, get ready, and then that'll be the predictions episode, but I can't wait.
Yeah. I think there's a strong possibility that we don't see Duskbloods, or we're not playing Duskbloods or Fire Emblem before July.
Yeah,
because
that's totally the case.
year, and if that's the case, then they're gonna have a really solid second half of the year. But
yeah,
we just haven't seen a ton of Fire Emblem.
You want to know?
We saw like a quick trailer, and then we saw basically nothing of Dustbloods.
Do Yoshi's, do Rhythm Heaven in the first half of this year. Give me something to play. Like, that's the other part which I'm starting to have the fear. Sure, there's travel that's coming up that, like, I'm going to go and take the Switch to with, like, we're going to PAX East and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to Switch for that and stuff like that. But, like, I'm not, like, itching to play my Switch right now. I'm waiting to, like, itch to play my Switch. With that being said, tonight, like, literally all I'm doing is playing Smash Bros. So that's going to be a very fun night. But, yeah, I'm very curious to see where the sales lands, but then also this February direct. It sets the tone for the whole year. This is like the biggest direct, I think, for them, not when it comes to the announcement sides, but it is going to set the tone on what the first 6 months of this year are. Because if it is just Yoshi, if it is just Mario Tennis Fever, I think that's not...
Mario Tennis Fever is February?
February.
So February, 12th? May, Yoshi, and then all of a sudden we're in summer.
Like, yeah, I think that's a bad gap.
I agree.
I think that's a really bad gap.
I could see it happening.
But especially with Mario Tennis Fever, like, Mario Tennis Fever, Metacritic, go. Guess it.
74.
Yeah, 77. Like, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be this new movie. Are we going to have a blast playing it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Am I going to wear only sweatbands on stream, Connor? Maybe. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun. But
only sweatbands.
Yeah, it took you a second. Like, it's going to be a ton of fun. But, like, I'm curious to see what else is there, because I think that they need not just, like, I don't think you get away with Yoshi, Rhythm Heaven, and Mario Tennis Fever.
And Tamagotchi Life?
I think that's down the line. Is that fall? Yeah. I think that might be fall 26th. The last trailer we saw of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they just kept it at 2026.
Life, Living the Dream.
Living the Dream.
Date.
Yeah.
It says that's incorrect.
Spring
okay, it is spring 2026. Okay, yeah. No, but that says autumn 2026 from Nintendo.
There's no way that's right.
I'm reading directly from Nintendo's website in autumn. And now we're looking at a trailer. It's literally the title of the trailer. Is it arrives in autumn? Oh,
Australia, New Zealand.
Okay.
I thought that might be the case, so that they have the reverse seasons.
Okay, then then they got a solid. They got a solid start with the Tamagotchi.
I know you don't agree with this. I do not look at cross-gen games as big wins for the new console, because I think a ton of people, most people, are going to play Tamagotchi Life and Rhythm Heaven on their Switch 1.
Yeah, I think that there are wins for the new console, though, because they're
wins for Nintendo.
Yeah, but I also think that the needle mover aspect of, like, what gets people to move over is console exclusives. Don't get me wrong, but I also, for me, if you were to ask me what is X game, the second that the new console is out, that is when I start the timeline of that new console. That's what I will always do for the rest of my life. You can never convince me otherwise.
Yeah. In the moment, maybe, but I think when you look back on the history of the console, nobody's going to consider Rhythm Heaven a Switch 2 game.
Really?
They will look at it as a Switch 1 game, yeah.
Do you think that right now people are looking at Metroid Prime as a Switch 1 game?
Yes.
Really? Oh, that's so fascinating to me.
You just said right now. I'm talking in retrospect when we get a little bit removed from this and look at the whole history of the console.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok is a PS4 game.
I completely disagree. Completely disagree. What if it sold more on PS5?
That's an interesting
proposition. There's got to be a way to look at it. God of War Ragnarok, So we're really finishing out the show strong with a lot of typing. Sales PS4 versus PS5.
I don't know if we're going to be able to find that information, but
82% of week 1 sales were PS5, 18% was week 4. That's gamesindustry.biz.
well,
So that looks like a PS5 game. I'm taking the win. Connor.
that was also years into the console, though.
Yeah. So I think that the
2 years
question
into the
is,
console?
well, let's look at Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? Spider-Man Miles Morales, PS4 versus PS5.
Sales numbers.
Sales. Nope. Missing a letter. Boom. There's nothing exact there. That's interesting. This will be a conversation for another time where we can argue like insanely, just nonstop about this. So we'll fist fight about it later. No, but this has been a very fun CGNC, Connor. And this show would not be possible without your support over on patreon.com/coop64. You guys keep the lights and mics on here at coop64. You can just read from here.
Yep.
Thank you so much for our amazing members at the highest tier that support this show. You get your name read at the end of each and every podcast. We shoot amazing members like Anthony C.,
Jake,
Knights Echoes,
Caleb B.,
Jay Bubba,
Squidlicious,
Silent Hills X,
Blake is a dog,
Cash R,
Chaboy Jake,
Cood,
Jakey P.,
Paige,
Pigeon Power,
Tyler,
Sir Shellis,
Raincoat,
Ooh Gracie,
Chuzar,
MG Dunbar,
Mr. Munchies,
Farmer Spud,
Rocky Tater,
Nofi,
The Proto Dan,
The Dankest Mike,
Swampy Bits,
Tristan C.,
Scones CC,
Aloha Ali,
Scooter Man,
Dinkleberg Rules,
Centuro,
Gum Horns,
Go Nash,
Neutral Sphere,
Eli the Unusual,
The Neutron Style,
Easton City,
Kingdom Hearts Rules,
Stooby Dooby Dooba,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
Uli,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Mel Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Cowboy Jesus,
Mega,
Yogi,
Damn,
Hold an M,
Shane O'Mac,
Brock,
Voodoo,
Milky Sins,
Reggie Ranks,
Alex the Golden,
Andrew H,
Nathan R,
Master Diz,
Cannon Fodder Games,
Only One, Rufus,
JMat B3,
Snake,
Ali Benali,
Michael.
and Kingdom Hearts Sucks.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.